Hello. I've got two subjects I want to talk about. Actually, it might be three. Because I was thinking of one, I was thinking of another. So this subject I want to talk about is access to work. So if you're like me, we have, sometimes with our autism and our ADHD, we have difficulties with managing our stress, prioritizing things we need to do, managing our time, needing someone to sit with us and support us when it comes to some things like forms, and in making decisions, and knowing what the best thing to do is. So what's amazing is the fact that Department of Work and Pensions provide access to work for some of us that need these extra things in place so that we can work, because quite a few people, if you're like me, you wanted to work and you couldn't because of certain employers and workplaces expecting a certain way of working that I couldn't fulfill without having overloads, breakdowns, crisis days, and needing time off work, then not being able to do what I wanted to do, and sending me through spirals of anxiety and depression, which is such a shame, isn't it? Because I knew I could be productive. I knew I had something to offer, but in a way that I could manage. So say like I can work really hard, but then I might need 2 days off for working. So I needed something that was working within my productivity and the way my brain functioned. What was good then was when I went to work for who I work for, then immediately they knew about access to work. So we were able to apply for access to work. Now, I was lucky because I had support within my workplace to apply for access to work and to keep it going. But what usually happens is that you do it yourself. You apply for access to work, you find what is a support worker to work with you. And first you have to ask your employer, will you accept an access to work support worker? And then the employer and you will both be in contact with the DWP to sort this out. So you'd have to pick how many hours. Well, they tell you how many hours they would allocate you with a support worker, and they would come and assess you. I was assessed in my workplace. So my workplace was up on it. Also, for me, the stress of trying to work out how to do it wasn't there. So I was lucky. And then they came to my workplace and they assessed me. They asked me what I needed, what support I needed, and there was a member of staff in with me when I was talking to access to work, because some things I might need explaining. And it's not because I'm unintelligent, it's just that the words some people use or the processing, I can process it later. So I needed someone to kind of prompt me a little bit and to explain some things to me, in a language that I understood. So when they assessed me, they also provided many different things as well. Say like they could supply something for my laptop, so that because of my dyslexia and my need for a certain colour, helped me concentrate better than say bright lights or white, and they provided a few different things for me, and also a footrest and a chair. There was quite a few things I was able to apply for. They don't really advertise this everywhere, which I can understand. In some ways, maybe, but then it also is stopping a lot of people from who, it's not just autism, it's ADHD. It's all of the neurodivergent, and any kind of what they deem as disability can apply for access to work, to be able to work somewhere. But of course, you have to get the agreement with your employer, and then source out a support worker who will come in and support you during some of those hours. I've noticed a massive difference for me having a support worker. I've got somebody who's on my side, because if you know about being autistic, we quite often feel judged, and we are judged. So it's not just feeling it, we are. And because I can't process at a certain speed, so when I go into a meeting, my support worker can make notes for me, can write it down, clear instructions. Some things I know that they don't know, like there's a lot of things about what I do. I have to tell them about, so I'm not just they're there to fill that gap of things that I struggle with, and I get an overwhelm, and I can't remember things someone said sometimes. So and it's just when my brain switches in and out, from years of doubting myself. We've got those old things in our head, haven't we? But I'm not the same person, I would say, from 5 years ago, starting out on this journey of working, that I am now, because having my support has helped me become more confident in my abilities and in understanding myself, and realizing I shouldn't give myself a hard time because I can't remember some things, or I can't match to a speed of someone else, or because I get overwhelmed. Because in some places I worked, I was judged and looked at harshly and treated unkindly because they, I don't know, it's just, in a way, it's wrong. When somebody's suffering, you shouldn't do that, but they do, don't they? They judge and treat you without the respect we all deserve. So, so with access to work, it's not an easy thing on your own to do. I should imagine citizens' advice. So this is all for what I know of as England and Wales. This is what we get here. I don't know what happens in Scotland or Ireland. I don't know if it's different. But here, what what we can get is this kind of support. And also, I was going to say that what I do every month. Sorry, my brain went then. Switched out. I'm back, I think. It's the overwhelm, isn't it? So once a month, I sign something to say how many hours of support I've had. And this is every month you have to sign to say, and they send it to the DWP, and then they pay once a month for my support. And it goes through them. But I wanted to tell you that in some places, they take over your access to work for you and do it for you. But you don't have to do that. You can manage it yourself. We are the employer of the support. So we become an employer of the support, which can seem a bit daunting, but we are capable. The things I found difficult about having support when it's been in certain places I work is the fact that my work pick my support. And if you are an autistic like me, I need somebody who I match with, who communicates the same, who probably is neurodivergent because I communicate differently to neurotypical. And I've had problems with support that has been supplied for me because they don't match up to the same person as I am. And I've actually ended up with stress from a support worker because of lack of communication skills and certain other skills that I needed as a support. So we sometimes you can watch out for that some places you work, they will pick support for you and give it to you, when in fact you don't. And if they don't work for you, it shouldn't be a bad, we shouldn't be made to feel bad, because the work I do, sometimes I work with autistics and then I say, I'm not the right autistic for you, am I? It's not working for you, because the whole point is for me to help make their lives better, not worse. Because I can talk fast, I can be loud sometimes, and I'm not the right person for everybody, and I know that. And it's not because I'm awful, it's because they require something different. So when we can't work with a support, it shouldn't be, it doesn't have to be a bad thing or a negative thing. This can be, okay, it's just not working. So this is why I think it's really important to pick our own support. Because I've had to say, look, I can't work with this support. I need to pick my own. As somebody who's going to work for me, and you do have the power to do that. Although some places who are doing your access to work might not be as easy to ask. And I think, unfortunately, access to work is open to misuse. That's what I think from what I've seen with some things, although it's made a difference to my life, probably entirely. But it can be open to abuse and misuse, and I know the DWP try and crack down on that. The whole point of access to work is that we have somebody who can support us properly, who respects us, who treats us properly, who understands us and makes us have that extra energy and belief in ourselves so we can do our job well. So I just wanted to talk about that. You can find access to work online, just put in access to work, and it should come up information there, and Citizens Advice should be able to help you, I would have thought, with that. The thing with getting support workers though is they don't, access to work, provide a link to any support workers for you to find them. But there are certain companies out there that do this. Now, I can't recommend any other than, say, like in Wales, I know, I think it's Dewis here in Wales. You can look up Dewis, and they have PAs, but who will probably be a support worker if you wanted them to be as well. And I think in England, I heard of somebody called No Drama Llamas who can do some things like that. But I don't know what they're like or what any of them are. I can't recommend them. But there might be more these days. But there's some people out there who are looking for PA work, person assistance work, you might be able to say, well, would you be my support worker? But then, you need to interview them, and don't feel bad if it's not the right person for you. It needs to be the right person. That's what I would say. All right, that's just me talking about access to work. Probably missed things. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.